when we come home at night, I didn't have a whole lot to do. And I told him, I'm like, I think I can do this. He said, well, go for it. Have fun. We use our points for the spa, the restaurants, and things like that. We haven't paid for a meal in, ages.
We have to look at playing slots like going on vacation, right? It's entertainment. That's really what it is, entertainment.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here on the SlotsFan podcast. We're so excited today to have Dee Dee and Ricky from Feelin Lucky Slots. If you haven't seen the show already, this show's all about going behind the scenes with slots influencers and content creators about their channels. So if you like that kind of thing, please hit the subscribe button. We come out with a new interview every Thursday. And while you're at it, why don't you please follow the link in the description and subscribe to Feelin Lucky Slots as well, because Dee Dee and Ricky, I checked out your channel. I've seen some of your content before, but I did a more deep dive, and there is so much fun slots content on your channel. I'm so excited to ask you some questions, and thank you so much for both of you spending the time to come on the show today.
Thanks, Matt. It's good to be here. We're excited.
Absolutely.
I mentioned to you before the show, we're starting off the interviews now with a really fun rapid fire 20 questions style mini interview. Dee Dee, I would love to direct my questions to you if that's cool, and we could kick things off and try to learn a bunch about you in a really short amount of time. So get ready. I'm going to start asking questions. Question one.
Go ahead.
Best slot ever.
Dragon Link.
I had a feeling after seeing some of your videos, you were going to say Dragon Link. And now, worst slot ever.
Huff and more puff.
That's not surprising either. A lot of people would say the same thing. Number 3, favorite slot influencer.
That's a tough one. There's so many, and do you have a favorite?
I'll tell you, I like Jackpot Judo.
He likes Jackpot Judo.
I might have to agree with you. Jackpot Judo is awesome.
Yes.
Favorite casino destination?
Vegas. Yeah, absolutely.
Best loyalty program?
MGM.
Nice. Online slots, yay or nay?
Nay. Nay.
The one slot myth you hear the most from other slots players?
You won't win if you have your card in the machine.
Except if it's a BetMGM card, then you're good.
That's right. That's right.
This one's probably related to Dragon Link. Your biggest win?
Dragon Link.
I can't wait to talk to you about both those videos that are on your
exciting.
channel. Man, they're so exciting. Favorite movie?
Sleepless in Seattle.
Nice. Guilty pleasure outside of playing slots?
Ooh. I would have to say we have a pretty big family, so we like being on the water or at the lake with our family. We have a new grandbaby, so that takes up a lot of our time.
Oh,
that's our guilty pleasure.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Day job?
Pass.
Slots player, full-time slots player.
Yes, that's it.
Okay, if you could create a slot, what theme would it be?
Oh, I don't know. Any ideas, babe?
What theme would it be?
Dallas Cowboys.
There you go.
I think they've already got that one.
Favorite restaurant that's located in a casino?
The Noodle Bar in Tampa, or Din Tai Fung at MGM at the Aria. Our favorites.
Very strong answers. One thing that the public gets wrong about slots?
That they're due to pay.
What makes a great slots influencer?
I think a great slot influencer is someone who's entertaining and that bets realistically and gives their audience a reason to keep coming back to their channel over and over.
Advice, or I should say one piece of advice for a new slots player.
Take it easy, go slow. Don't put in more money than you're willing to lose.
Very good advice. Favorite casino game aside from slots?
Craps. How about you?
I like Ultimate Hold'em.
Nice. Both good choices. Most surprising fan interaction?
You want to talk about this one real quick?
Well, we've had all 3 of them, so let me figure out which one it is.
Hey, you guys have only been around for like a year. You're just getting started.
No. We were in Tampa recently, and and we were playing together, and I noticed a young lady at the end, and she's looking and she's looking and she's just watching us the whole time. And finally, I looked up at her and she goes, "Are you guys Ricky and Dee from Feelin Lucky Slots?" And of course, we said yes. And you thought the Tom Cruise walked through the casino. It was just so funny.
Yeah. I've got one really quick too. We're sitting on a slot in Reno and we're playing, and this lady peeked around from the backside. She's on the backside playing Dragon Link, and she goes, "Are y'all Ricky and Dee Dee?" We were like, okay, she recognized our voice. And so that
That's
was
so
pretty cool.
I can't wait
Yeah,
to ask
pretty
you some more
cool.
questions about your fans and your audience. Two more questions. You're doing great. One casino that you haven't been to, or a casino destination, but would love to visit?
I think Yamava. We would really like to go to Yamava.
Good choice. And the last question, one thing that your followers don't know about you.
Oh, I don't know.
They probably, I don't know. This is something we do for fun, but there's so many influencers that do this as far as a job, and this is what they do for a living. I mean, we strictly do this for fun.
We're only in the casino about once a month.
Yes.
Not
Okay.
every day. Yeah.
Well, maybe we can talk a bit about healthy and responsible gambling habits.
Right.
And it sounds like you guys have a great balance between being able to do this for fun, and it sounds like a really rewarding personal life outside of it. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. I know that was a lot of questions, and I feel like I learned something about both you guys.
Good.
And I was pretty sure Dragon Link was going to come up when we talked today.
For sure.
I was hoping we could start there. Your channel, from what I can tell at least, has not been around for a really long time. You've posted a lot of content, and the growth and the reaction, it seems like, from your audience has been really, really positive. I wanted to start just by asking how you got into this. How long have you guys been playing slots, and what led to you deciding to actually start recording yourself and starting a channel?
So we started playing together on tables, and then that's where my math skills went, so I'm not good at it at all. And he would play three reel from time to time. So I started playing a little bit of three reel slots, but we had planned a trip to Vegas for my birthday, for the big birthday, if you know what I mean, the big birthday with all of our friends. And I decided to go online and look up how to play slots, because I thought, surely on YouTube there's got to be a channel about how to play slots, because I feel like I need to know how to do everything before I start doing it.
Sure.
And that's when all the channels popped up, and the first one I saw was Stacy and Stacy's High Limit Slots. And so I binged watched her for about a month before we went on our trip. And of course, she bets bigger. And I thought, okay, babe, we can do this. We can do this. So we got our first hand pays. I mean, we're betting $15 to $20. I mean, nothing amazing, but a pretty healthy size bet. And we were like, yeah, we can do this. And then, so that's when we started playing slots more, was at that time. And that was, I would say, about April or May of 2023.
Okay.
So I've only been playing slots for a couple of years now. And then we went to the Bow and got completely wrecked. And I'm like, I'm never betting that kind of money ever again. So at that point, that's when we kind of decided that, hey, I might could do this channel thing. Let's see what we can do. So that's where it all started anyway.
That's really interesting. It's cool to hear that Slots YouTube actually helps people get into slots. And, I can see lots of reasons why that's the case. What was the experience like for you actually starting a channel? It seemed, you're up to like almost 8,000 subscribers. The numbers on your channel are really good. And correct me if I'm wrong, it's been like a year or something since you guys launched it.
Yeah, so when I started watching Stacy, I didn't really watch anybody else until a couple of trips in, and I watched her, and I thought, I'm sitting here trying to figure out how she's doing this. And the more I figured it out, I'm like, okay, she must have a tripod. And then other channels will say little things to give you clues about what they're doing. And I told him, our kids are grown. They've moved. Our 4 girls have moved out of the house. We both have full-time jobs, but when we come home at night, I didn't have a whole lot to do. So other than cook dinner. So I was looking for something to kind of fill in that void. And I told him, I'm like, I think I can do this. I think I can do this. He said, well, go for it. Have fun. I don't want no part of it. It's all you. So the next trip we took was maybe June And I filmed a few little shorts just to bring it home and work on my editing skills because I had never edited. I'd never done anything like that before. Never had a YouTube channel. And so when I got back home, that's what I did. I tried to edit, see how they looked. I felt like they looked good. And then we planned a trip to Vegas and we were going to get content. So August is when we went of 2023. And we posted our first video at the end of August. Wow. And I was really surprised people watched it. I was like, there's people actually watching this video. And that's kind of how it got started from there. And it just kept growing really, I'd say pretty rapidly. And of course, that time of year is a really good time of year because you got Christmas and all that. So I think more people are sitting around watching videos. But it really kickstarted, once I played a Dragon Link, it was all over at that point because really the numbers shot up and we were like, okay, let's narrow this down. Dragon Link is it. So that's kind of how it got started.
That's so interesting. I know, I know from experience how much work goes into any YouTube channel. So yeah, congratulations on taking that on and having success with it. It's also a really competitive space. There's so many slots channels these days. So I think it takes something special to stand out and to connect with your audience. And congratulations on the success that you're having.
We agree.
Let me ask you this. Did figuring out that Dragon Link content does well on YouTube lead you to play Dragon Link? And did that lead you to those 2 grands that you have actually on camera?
Yeah, I had never played Dragon Link before until we took that trip to the Beau Rivage, and they were full the whole time, so we didn't play much. You remember? I told him, I'm like, let's try this. Well, now that's all we want to play because we've kind of figured out the nuances of the game and kind of, how it works. But I'd say, yes, so we were just on a trip this past weekend. We hit 8 majors on Dragon Link. So we played the penny denom, the lower denoms, so they're not, in the thousands of dollars, but still I think it's because we play so much. And I think people that say they can never win majors is because they don't realize how much we're actually playing, these machines for hours and hours at the time. But yeah, that's kind of where the whole Dragon Link thing came from, because the first video that I posted was Corrida de Toros, Lightning Dollar Link, because that was my favorite machine. I still love it to this day. But the minute we posted a Dragon Link, and I want to say it was only about a week in to where we were posting, and that video got like 1,200 views the first night. And we'd only posted like 4 videos or 5. I can't remember exactly. So I was like, okay, everybody really likes Dragon Link. So that's when it started, the Dragon Link, Phoenix Link, Lightning Link. Well, Phoenix Link came along, but Lightning Link, Lightning Dollar Link, those have just done really well. So we kind of doubled down on it and kept doing it and, found success with it.
Yeah, it seems like certain channels kind of get into a niche on YouTube with certain games. And luckily it often is like the best games out there because it's what the viewers like playing so much. So I have to ask you to tell us the story, like the behind the scenes story of these 2 grand jackpots that you have. And for everyone out there, go to their channel and filter the videos by most popular and watch the first 2 videos, because I think there's nothing more exciting than waiting for the last last symbol to drop, and like, oh man, it's a good feeling when that happens. Even watching it,
oh my gosh,
it's so exciting. I think a lot of people have been there and a lot fewer have actually seen it happen. So what was that like?
Yeah, well, because you never think it's going to happen. You see 14 balls and you're like, yeah, whatever. But it happens so fast that it just went pow, pow, bam, it's there. And I screamed and he's like, easy, Tiger, hold on, it's okay. And I'm like, $11,000.
So are we talking about the second one now?
The first one.
Oh, we're still on the first one.
Was that the one on the $2 bet? Was that the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
the first one was
incredible. What a win.
Yeah, it was insane because I just, like I said, I never expected it to happen. And so now when I get those 14 balls, I'm like staring intently at that circle to see if it's going to happen, because both times we saw it in there. So the second time we were about to go up to our room, we were just playing around. It gets really noisy in the casino at night. So we're not allowed to record because we don't play in the high limit room. So it's just too noisy. And so we were just playing around, and I told him, I was like, it's in there. Get out the cameras quick. It's in there.
Okay.
Bam.
So there was another backstory behind that one also.
It's always him.
So we're playing on the machine. And we hit a few good bonuses. And she says, honey, let's cash out and get another machine. I said, no. She said, you want to keep playing? I said, absolutely. So we keep playing. And then she says it to me again, hon, let's go ahead and change machines. I said, let's keep playing. I promise you, this machine's going to hit.
And it did.
And it did.
So
Thank you, honey.
it was a good thing that you guys teamed up to play together. It's a team effort.
Yeah.
No,
We do that a lot. Yeah.
That's so cool. I'd love to ask you more questions about what that's like, because it's such a cool thing when a couple can find this as a hobby and spend, it takes support too, back and forth. But before that, you mentioned another grand on another game. Can you tell us that story?
Yeah, we were at Harris Cherokee, which is our local. I mean, it is 3 hours away. That's our closest casino. And of course, we cannot record there. He was over in the sports book watching football, and I was playing piggy banking, and I got the big pig. I didn't even pull out my camera because they do not allow it at all until the thing started spinning and it said grand, and that was $13,000.
Wow.
So that was very exciting as well. Very exciting. I wish I had the whole thing on camera. That makes it even more special when you can share it with everybody that, what happened. But, it is what it is.
So I'm sure you guys put in a lot of hours, but you mentioned that you're not there every day. You're going monthly, and you've only been at this for a couple of years. I think, like $3,000 like that, that's more than some people see in their whole life playing slots.
Absolutely. That's really incredible. I mean, it's crazy. So that's those 3 jackpots together are about $40,000. So, I mean, you can add it up. My math is not amazing. I've already told all that, but it was 11, 13, and 13, whatever that comes to, plus the change. Pretty awesome.
Congratulations. That's so cool. And
thank you.
It's funny with slots content where it's like a lot of the time, at least when you have a good result, not only do you win money, but you also have awesome content to share. And then kind of the flip side, when things go poorly, it's like you lose money and also don't always have the content.
That's right.
Maybe on that point, I'm curious, like, how have you found the reception on YouTube? Is it always really clear cut like that? You have a big win, you get a lot of views, or has anything surprised you about what the kind of content that really hits on YouTube?
Yeah, for the most part, if it's a big win, we get a lot of views. Now, that's not to say that when I post a loser, it doesn't, because there are times when I can post a loser and it will go crazy. And I'm like, that was not even a great video. And there are times when I post a really good win and it doesn't go very far. So you just really never know. But yeah, winners, and you can't, YouTube strategies will say that you need to double down on what works. Well, unfortunately, I can't make that work again. I mean, I can't make a grand happen again. Right. So we just have to post what we get.
Well, it's always like such a big learning curve for everybody on YouTube and other platforms in terms of like, it's so the content creators, I think, are the best at it because you guys are really into it, like really up close to it and immersed in it. So it's interesting to talk about it. I wanted to ask you about this whole experience because, you described having some time in your life and looking for something fun to do. And it seems like you guys found something really special and found something that you can share that involves travel, that involves excitement, probably even involves chances for you each to go off and do the things that you personally like to do. Tell us about what that's like and how it's fitting into your lifestyle and what the experience has been like.
Yeah, I would say, like, for me, we spend now, when we're at the casino, almost every waking minute together, unless he's in the room working, and sometimes he has to do that. This past trip we took, we both went down and had a massage together. I don't know. I mean, what do you feel? Do you feel like it's brought us together even more, or?
Well, I mean, we spend 100% of our time together now, so I don't know how much closer it could bring us.
Yeah, we're pretty tight.
But what we do learn is trust when I say, honey, I need another $500, so that's kind of the trust now that we have with each other.
Or, honey, we need to stay on this machine a little longer today.
A little longer. I will want to make it clear. She is much, much better on these machines than I will ever be. She's phenomenally good. She's got great instincts. Every now and then I get lucky and I find one, but she is so much better at it than I am.
Well, you got to know when to stop. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to know that whatever your bet size is, there's going to come a point where it's not going to pay you back unless you hit something major, and the chances are fairly slim at that point. So you got to stop. I mean, $200 or $300 on a 250 bet, it's probably a good stopping point, because
Yeah.
it's going to be really hard to recoup it, more than that money. But
Probably it's never happened, Ricky, that you've said to stay and then not won, right? It's always paid off.
Oh, well, those are the stories I'll never tell, right?
Right. Well, I also think that influencers are a really valuable source of information and experience for slot players, the games for sure, but also these kind of tips about the realities of what it's like to play slots. And, like you said, you're posting losses. You're not going to win in the long run. You're not going to win all the time playing slots. So I was curious if you had, in the 20 questions thing, we really briefly asked for a tip for slot players, but do you have any other experience or any other advice that you can share with slots players to help them have more fun, maybe a bit more safely in the casino?
yeah, I would say definitely knowing when to stop is the best thing, because to me, that's the most important thing I do. And I have so many people comment on our videos that we're such smart players because we get up and walk away. It's not always easy. Sometimes we want to keep playing. Maybe the other machines are full or whatever, and so you end up staying longer than you should, but you've got to learn to walk away. And I would also say use your player's card. The benefits that we've gotten, especially from MGM, are just unreal. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Have you got anything you would say? Be responsible.
Yeah, the big thing when people ask me about it is we have to look at playing slots like going on vacation, right? It's entertainment. That's really what it is, entertainment. Because really what you're doing, that you kind of have to count that money gone. You're paying to be entertained. And that's really what this is with slots. So you have to use that philosophy. And I have taken X amount of dollars. We've gone on a trip for 4 days. And I've said, this is my budget. And I got a little crazy the first day, and I spent every dime. And she'll tell you, for the next 3 days, I didn't gamble.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah.
Unless he asked me for $500.
That's different money.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
It's
his and hers money.
It's interesting because the flip side is also, I think, important, where when people are running good and they win money, they tend to behave a lot differently with that money. And
yes,
it's like you said, it's whatever. To me, if you're comfortable losing what you brought, then by all means have fun with the money that you win, but also realize that that's the money that you're getting paid back, in the big picture, like you talk about RTP or anything, but people tend to treat the money that they win a little differently.
That's free money. They think it's free money, and it's really not. So our $3,000, we brought all that money home, and that's what awesome. We continue to make. I mean, now that's what we continue to make content with. We're still using the last grand we won in April to make content now, and our last 3 trips since then started off terrible, but we've been able to recoup the money. And I've come home almost even every trip for the last 3 trips, which is
that's a win.
Unreal.
That's an absolute win.
Huge win.
Absolute win.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to think that, when you're running good, that the positive results that you get once in a while could like fund your future entertainment or allow you to maybe be a bit, play a bit higher or do a bit more. And also experiences are a great way to spend winnings as opposed to just putting them back into the slot machine. I had a conversation with during the last interview I did about kind of the whole experience of what people are going to casino destinations for. The gambling is a part of it, but it feels like more and more people are going there for other experiences too. You guys mentioned a massage. We talked about restaurants. There's shows. There's all this fun sort of stuff. You also mentioned loyalty programs, the BetMGM one in particular. So I was hoping you could maybe tell us how you guys like to spend your time. What's a perfect casino trip for you, and how do the rewards play into that and kind of help unlock some opportunities, or at least get some, a rebate or something on the money that you are spending on entertainment while you're playing slots?
Right. Well, so MGM is for us. What's important to us is free play, obviously, because we are recording, and they are very, very generous with their free play at MGM. But we used our points for the spa, the restaurants, and things like that. We haven't paid for a meal in ages. But I will say one of the tricks I learned about this, and I didn't know, I'm very introverted believe it or not. I'm very introverted, so asking people for things is very hard for me. But after our first trip, I went to the host office and I'm like, hey, I've heard that if we come see you, you'll rate our play and see if you can take anything off. And he looked at our play and he's like, yep, it's all good. You don't owe us anything. So we had charged everything to the room, all of our food, and our meals, and they took it all off. So from that point on, I'm not scared to ask anymore because the worst they can do is say no. So, I mean, that's the biggest for me, I think.
So the tip is to ask and don't be afraid to talk to the host.
Don't be afraid to ask if you,
people.
That's right. Don't be afraid to ask if they will look at your play and see if anything. Now, we don't want to be overcomped because we want to come back. But yeah, I mean, that was the best tip I could give is be sure and ask. Even go to the rewards desk or go to the host desk and just ask if you've played enough to get some of your bill taken off. Resort fees for some folks, that kind of thing.
That's really cool.
And MGM, has that accelerator program, right? So, you hit certain tiers, they're giving you free points. And I always tell her, I said, please don't tell me we need X amount of points to hit this next year. Because every time she does it, it's like a mission for me.
It sounds like their program's working for you guys.
It's working on me for sure.
No, it's smart. I mean, it's just one of the, it feels like you're really leaving a lot of value on the table. I know people that don't play with the cards, whether it's superstition or laziness or whatever, but and I guess with properties like MGM that are, it's not just one location. This is a network of properties that you can, you could travel all over the place and access and can earn points to the same loyalty program, which is pretty cool.
We actually also, before we went to Tampa, even though I guess you could consider that our local, it's about 6 hours from us, so we could drive. Before I went there, we had not been in years, so we had no loyalty whatsoever. I did reach out to an independent casino host, and they were able to link our MGM with Unity, of course, and get us free rooms. We had no free play or no food and beverage, but they got us free rooms. And then after the fact, I went to the host desk, and they took off the food and beverage because we had gambled for hours and hours and hours. But so if you don't have a host or if you don't, have never been to a casino, you might want to think about reaching out to an independent host. There are several out there. I don't know if that's something you want to give a name out or not. I don't know if you've heard of one.
Then I think it's useful for people to know.
Yeah, Executive Casino Tours is one, and UR Compt is the other that I'm familiar with, and they helped us get in down there.
UR Compt is great. They can also, they do cruises and stuff like that. Right?
Yeah.
I have heard some talk about an app that's going to try to make people's play history and rating a bit more accessible for other casinos to make offers, like more competitive offers, especially when you're going to a new, like you're saying, a new destination that may not have any direct ties to places that you play. But, it seems like a big missed opportunity for those properties not to know that somebody that they might want to make an offer to is coming into town, and vice versa on the player side. Is pretty cool.
Right. Yeah, because because of his job, we've traveled all around the world and we've been to casinos all around the United States. We've been to the big casino in Singapore, the Marina Sands, I believe it was.
Sands, yeah.
But it would be nice to know that you could go to these casinos and have, a few little comps, at least a meal or something. So, if you had an app like that, that would be amazing so that we could get in some of these places, for our play.
I feel like all you should need to do is show them your YouTube channel and say, you want to see how I play and see my player history? Like, it's right there.
Yeah. And it's funny about that because you think I know you have these conversations about playing in casinos and recording in casinos, but it's like they want you to have 10,000 subscribers. Well, I've got the views that we have on our channel are as good as some that have 50 to 100,000 subscribers. You should be looking at the views, not the subscribers. I mean, we love our subscribers, but the views is where it counts. I have this conversation with people frequently, and I think it's just harder. Like, there isn't as obvious a metric to look at to see recent views and that kind of thing, but 100%. On SlotsFan.com, we've got this rankings of influencers. There's like over 300 channels on there, and you can filter it by views.
is total channel views right now, but definitely a more important metric to look at.
Right. It is a very good metric.
I mean, people try to make the case for like, oh, you should want me in the casino because you'll get free advertising. But to me, it's like, you should want you guys in the casino because you're really awesome customers, casino customers. That should be all they need to know.
Thousands of dollars.
You know,
Yes.
like every channel, you know, not to
That's
mention
right.
the fact that you're going to be talking about the property that you're in and, you know, and other stuff. So no, it's really cool. I think people are becoming more receptive, and you mentioned Yamava, and there's a few properties around that have really leaned into embracing influencers, and I think you can see how well it's working out for them. I think it's going to keep catching on, and you know, maybe there'll be like a standardized accreditation or something that's going to make it easier for casinos to feel comfortable allowing you to come in. I guess, you know, there are other concerns that might worry them a bit.
Well, like we were at El Cortez, we started filming at Resorts World and El Cortez a year and a half ago when there was nobody there. I mean, they were so receptive. They were like, you know, hey, come on. And Adam was just so good to us. So we continue to go back. And now when we were there this past weekend, you know, there were multiple people in there recording. And I think as long as you're respectful and you're not too loud and obnoxious and, you know, messing with other people's experience, I think it's a good thing for both the casino and the influencer. So hopefully one day it'll catch on a little better.
You know, people are going to El Cortez to try to run into slots influencers. Like, it's totally a thing.
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned running into some fans that recognize you, which has to be a weird and cool experience, I think. But I'm curious, what's it been like you know, I know for influencers, the relationship and the audience and community is a big part of this. And I've always been blown away by how strong the relationships are among the audience community and with the influencers. What's that been like for you guys, and what's your audience all about?
Well, I would say we have some subscribers that are still watching today. They still comment, and I recognize their name from, you know, the very first few days of our videos. We have some that we have met in the casino, and we go out to dinner, and, you know, we take them out to dinner, or they'll ask us, when are you going to be in Vegas, or when are you going to be in Tampa? We want to be there. We want to see you. And I had one lady the other day look down the row of Dragon Link, and she goes, and she's like, and I was recording, so I was like, yeah, so that's cool. Us. It is. It really is, because it's such a positive experience. I don't think I've ever had anybody be negative, except, you know, a few of the negative Nelly comments that we get occasionally. But everybody is so positive, and they want to see you succeed, and I want to see them succeed. So it's just been it's great. I love reading the comments every night. Now, Ricky says, do not let him touch the comments, because he is very slow to anger, but if he gets slapped, he's going to slap back.
I tell you, you want to be successful, do not give me access to reply back.
You know, so it's just been a great overall experience with, you know, hearing about people's wins. And I think YouTube's got this new community page that just came out. I know I just got access to it, so I'm excited to try it out, where our viewers can actually post their wins and post their pictures. So
very cool.
I think it'll be really cool. I'm excited to dig into that a little bit. I just got access, I think, this weekend, and I haven't had a chance to look into it. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, just YouTube on its own is such a fast changing and kind of complicated at times platform. It's hard to keep up even with that, let alone all the slot stuff.
Right. That's right.
No, it's so cool, because we've had several couples who do channels together, and it's such a, you know, I think, like, from the viewer perspective, it's exciting, and it's a different dynamic and vibe as opposed to like the single slots person. And I can only imagine
single's hard. Yeah, single is
a lot
hard.
Of pressure. That's what I was going to say. I can only imagine it's a benefit for you guys to have each other's support, have each other's, you know, entertainment, and being able to play off each other, and then just experiencing it all. I mean, it seems like people are really connect with channels because of the person connection. And I think when you see, like, a lot of your personality comes out in your interactions with each other, and people, I think, really appreciate seeing that and connect with it a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. And I think that's what allows us the ability to keep our bets small, is that we're entertaining. I think if we were not entertaining, and if it was just me behind the camera talking, I don't know how much more they would want to watch because I'm going to say the same thing. So I think the entertainment factor really, us playing together, he's good to me, he's sweet to me, and I think people like to see that too because that seems to be a lost art these days, where husbands and wives really like each other. And so I feel like people appreciate that. And so, yeah.
I'm curious where you see this going and what are some of the things that you're looking forward to? You mentioned traveling even abroad to go play. There's so many cool destinations around the US, but also internationally. What do you have planned for the next month or the next year for the channel?
That's a tough one. I mean, I think right now we have focused on slow, steady growth. We don't do a lot of shorts. I don't do a lot of live. We go live occasionally for our audience, trying to reach out to them and support them a little bit. But I don't do a lot of shorts because I feel like it brings in subscribers that don't watch my long form content. So I kind of we post a few. But I think we're just going to keep doing our slow, steady growth, keep doing some of our challenges that we do, and, just go and see where it takes us. And I think the sky's the limit, and I'm excited. How about you? Anything to add to that?
I'm just here for you, hon.
The perfect response.
Yes, ma'am.
You need to learn that one.
Yes, ma'am.
No, I mean, it sounds like regardless of what the end game is, it seems like you guys are having a blast on the journey, which I think is key to why people want to go on the journey with you, like by watching your content. So yeah, I'm so excited to follow along on your channel. And, I love the dynamic and I love the authenticity that you guys put out there. And yeah, it's really refreshing. And I can see why, you've described it as slow and steady growth, but it's strong growth that you've had on the channel. And yeah, it seems like more and more opportunities popping up for slots people. I'd love to see more SlotsCon events happen.
That would be great. That was an awesome event. I wish they could do it again. I mean, that was in January of 2024.
Yeah.
And we had just started. So it was really great meeting all the big slot creators there. It was a big help.
I had flights booked to come to SlotsCon, and then there was this crazy storm. I don't know if you remember. There was a storm, and all my flights all got canceled. I couldn't make it, unfortunately. But I heard so much fun stuff. Again, we'll do it again.
We met NJ. Yeah, NJ was there.
He's the person that invited me. I mean, we're hoping, SlotsFan meet and greet type events. There's so much opportunities for not only for the community, but for casinos to host events like this. It gets a lot of people out, and it's a lot of fun. There's nothing more fun than hanging out with other slots players at a fun casino. And like every meet and greet I've gone to has just been such a positive vibe, and meeting people that you've interacted with for a long time online in person is something really special to that. Okay, well, guys, I so appreciate you spending the time with us.
You're welcome.
And I'd love to have you guys back on the show and check in once a little bit of time's gone by, and we'll talk about your next Dragon Link grand videos, I'm sure.
Love to. That'd be awesome. Let's do it.
Yeah, man. Okay. Once again, I hope everyone who's still watching will follow the link in the description and check out Feelin Lucky's slots. And again, there's so much good content on your channel for people to check out. And while you're at it, please subscribe to SlotsFan for a new influencer interview every Thursday. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.